Who we got on Zoom tonight?
Anita Lewis, Raymond, and Lynn.
So did you want to bring it? Did they deliver it? What's that? Refrigerator. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you all for coming this evening. We'll start this meeting at 7:03. You guys all ready? Yep. Wonderful. All right, first thing is we need to approve the minutes from October 19th Selectmen's Meeting. Second it, all in favor? Okay. Well. Next, we will be approving warrant 9 and payroll warrants for October 25th, 2023 and November 1st, 2023. Can I have a second? Yeah. All in favor? All right, time for reports. Do we have an RSU 10 report from anyone? Anyone be at a school board meeting or any new information? All right, did everyone get a copy of the road report? Yes, anyone have any questions? I can read through it, but we can keep the meeting going. Great. All right. And the constable report. Nothing to report? Good, good. All right, code enforcement. And did everyone get a copy of that? It was emailed out and just year to date, I'll let you know that year to date building permits issued 23, last year at this time 28. Year to date plumbing permits issued 10, last year there was 18. And there's only one complaint pending right now for gray water discharge. All right, ACO report. We received a report from our animal control officer. Are there copies around too? Or?
No, some of it probably isn't.
Yep. So we've asked our animal control officer to submit a log every month, which she had not been doing. I guess we hadn't asked her. So I came up with just a log form that she can put down when someone calls in, what the complaint was about, what the resolution is, just so if anyone calls Leanne or us or anything down the road or is bit by a animal or whatever, we've got a good log in place. And so she submitted her first one. It's pretty detailed and all good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Win-win. Okay, planning board report. Is there one? No, they have a meeting this coming Monday. All right, ordinance committee. Any report from ordinance?
I think about something she had sent me in the email, it just doesn't.
Yeah, no, she reported at the last meeting, which was after the last ordinance committee, so. Should I read her note to the group or?
I'm not in the right one.
Okay, excellent. All righty, fire warden report.
No report, but you did answer the letters of planning board about the subdivision.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mentioned them.
Yeah. So FYI, the planning board asked the road commissioner and the fire warden for their input on the development and if they had any concerns, and both.
They sure did.
Yes, they did, and
Oh,
both
yes, they did.
both the fire warden and road commissioner submitted their information to the planning board so that they can move forward with answering those concerns or fixing those concerns. All right, treasurer's report.
The budget's in the expense account in the expense report now. The audit's almost done. I just got the draft copy. I went through it with some questions, so I'll wait for them to get back to me. Tax bill drum ring, yeah, summer mail already.
Very cool. All right, do we have a cemetery committee? Oh, I have, wait, one last question. Has Sumner cashed all those checks? I know you had said that.
I haven't gotten statements yet. I'll find out.
Okay, great. I'm just curious. I knew people were waiting, so. Cemetery committee report.
We had a meeting at Fuller, a workshop, I should say, at Fuller last Thursday. We finished cleaning all the stones, straightening all the stones, repairing all the stones at that cemetery. So Thompson's complete, Fuller's complete.
Excellent. Thanks to the whole team for everyone's hard work.
Which one is the one?
Fuller, Bear Mountain, on Bear Mountain Road.
Good, thank you so much.
Used to be
I
called.
I never can remember that because I think it was Bear Mountains.
Yeah, it used to be called.
Solid waste committee report. We received a note from Bonnie Bishop. That basically says, attached, please find reports for this past month's solid waste and ordinance committee meetings. I would like to request that Steve Nelson, who has had 3 unexcused absences from the solid waste committee, be removed from it.
I move that we accept Steve Nelson's passage.
You want to wait until
Resignation.
appointments and resignations, or do you want to do it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can wait for appointments and recognitions. Okay. Solid waste committee report. There is no quorum. Individuals in attendance talk briefly about the town's current bulky waste pickup program. The committee's intention is to create a resource list of items that are excluded from our regular collections and to determine where they may go. Another topic for consideration is the possibility of a town recycling center and swap shop.
Or just to get back about the bulky waste and lumber and whatnot, I think I sent it to you guys. I sent it to the ordinance committee too. He sent samples of other towns, what they accept and how to determine how much to leave out.
Excellent.
Actually, I think that's something.
All right, calendar reminders. This coming Monday, the Career Center has a person coming to our town office from 10:30 to 12. And she's coming to help people with resume building or questions about career development. So if anyone's interested, it's a great outreach. You don't have to drive to Wilton or Lewiston. You can just come here. And she came last month too, and I think she's going to be coming every month. No,
No.
just these 2 so far. So anyone has any interest, we'd love to have you come and use that resource.
Or if you know somebody who might.
Right.
Looks to me like most of us are probably not in that market.
If they want to update a reservoir.
Somebody who.
I actually have a friend who's coming. All right, planning board meeting is this coming Monday at 7 o'clock. The referendum election is this coming Tuesday from 8 AM to 8 PM. Please come and vote. Let's see, cemetery committee meeting is 11/11 at 8 AM. And right here, unfinished business, beach policy. All right. Is it, oh, yeah,
I'd like to add something to the calendar. The town office is closed on Veterans Day, the 11th, Saturday.
okay.
I should think.
All right, we've had several discussions about the beach policy and we tabled it to this meeting. I did pull the Turner beach policy, which says, they charge families $15 and they can have 2 passes. They can purchase 2 passes for their family. Everyone that does
Two
go,
passes for their family, which means.
all she told me is that they can buy 2 $15 passes for their families. If you have 2 cars, they can, that's all a family can buy.
Oh, okay, so one is 15 and the second one is 15.
Correct. Yeah, but then only allow families 2 passes.
Seems like that ought to cover it for most folks.
Yep. Their policy is they're only open from Memorial Day to Labor Day from 8 AM and to 8 PM daily. Of course, they've got a fully fenced in beach. Yeah. And guests are allowed to go with the residents that have a beach pass, but they're not allowed to go without the resident. That's
But
Turner's.
do they, I'm asking you, do they have to go to the town office first and get a pass? So they
No,
go with them?
because their beach is fully attended all the time.
Okay, and, but if those people drive an extra car, it's not a problem because they don't, their beach pass is not based on parking pass, it's
Correct.
based on carrying. I've actually been down there and asked people to show me their passes, what it looked like.
Yep.
And it's like a driver's license or something like that. Not the handiest thing to carry if all you're wearing is bathing suit, but still.
Yep. And they do not have a policy for Airbnbs.
They don't,
Nope.
you're gonna get one now.
She said it hasn't been brought up by enough people that it's a problem yet. So,
Well, so far here, it's been brought up by one person?
one person. Yep.
Okay.
With the feedback that Steve offered at the last meeting about the beach and the warning system that we set up, which appears to work. You didn't have to, nobody got towed last year.
Nope.
I feel like it's working. You know, we have some trash issues, which, by the way, Turner also has had trash issues. They have a whole policy here about diapers and kids going in the water with diapers and everything's carry in, carry out. So,
Well, you know, that's something,
yep,
honestly, that's an issue. You know, I mean, they actually sell little swimmers.
and that's what
diapers that are intended to be swimming.
they stated in here, that if they have a regular diaper, they have to wear plastic pants over them. So they've obviously had diaper issues for sanitation.
Do
Yep,
they have someone there
all the time when they're open.
watching all the time? They're open?
They have someone that sits, well, when I've gone by or when I've walked around the pond, she is sitting there with a clipboard, sometimes in the sun and sometimes right next to the gate. But when she sees people come in, she goes right up and checks her classes.
And keeps an eye on whether they leave the diaper on their babies and stuff like that. And this person is paid employee of the town.
So they've had some volunteers, but because they're trying to keep 8 to 8, they have to pay some people. But they did mention that one of their lead volunteers is retiring and he's tired. So, yeah.
I guess they don't call it retirement for nothing.
Exactly. So is there any feedback from the audience or anyone on the current beach policy? Whether we want to continue with it? Do we need to make any adjustments? Did we hear about towing? Will the gentleman still be able to tow next year?
He plans to, yes.
Great.
He's moving around.
You say, leave it the way it is, then.
I agree. I moved, oh, yes. Would you stand and state your name, please?
David Terry. Is this before talking about people that rent, they're not primary residents, they're part-time, if you're staying on an Airbnb and you want to use the beach? Is this included in this, or is this a late discussion?
If we were to leave it as it is, there's no mention of Airbnb. No mention.
So we're
So far,
not,
we've had one Airbnb make a request about this, but it doesn't seem like it's an overwhelming need at this time.
we're not allowed at this time.
Not at this time. Not if we decide to just keep it the way it is.
Right.
Which is the path of least resistance, but, you know, I don't know that it's emergency, I mean, we could, you know, on receipt of more information, I suppose we could change our policies, just policy, and a policy can be changed.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're in any danger of needing to use the beach anytime soon.
It's pretty cold down there. Cold on my beach.
There's a question.
Hi, Liz.
I heard someone say that they thought the solution was taken care of. When you were talking about comparing the Turner Beach to our beach. And I know the woman who's monitoring the Turner Beach. She was in class with my daughter.
Oh, wonderful.
And she does a great job. She hasn't had any issues. And you're right, she's there with a clipboard and she pays something like $15 an hour. She's a teacher. And this is a nice way to spend part of her summer. She leaves fairly early in the afternoon. I mean, most of the stuff that happens at our beach happens after 4 o'clock when she's left. But I don't think the solution is solved for our beach, because I've talked to a bunch of people, and if you want to go there with your kid for a birthday party, you're supposed to pay $5 per kid, which nobody is going to do. It seems like this is our beach. We should be able to have a birthday party here without spending $50. It's just. And then the parents come too sometimes if it's a small child. So then, I mean, it's just out of sight. If you go to a park, a state park, each child is $1. And anybody over 65 is free. That's how it should be. I just think it's outrageous.
Would it be,
She's got a good point.
yeah, would it be, you know how like when we're using this location and we know that a group is coming, if someone's having a birthday party, couldn't they contact the town office and say, we'd like to have a birthday party at the beach and it's a resident that has a child and we could make accommodations for that?
That is a section G here, permit request for use of all of or portion of the property by groups, organized public events. Well, it's not a public event, it's still a private event, so, you know, maybe we need to consider making a modification to this.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know,
great
I
idea.
think you
I
guys
hadn't
should-
thought about that.
Because it's a great place to have your kids' birthday party.
I mean, Hartford is, the people around the lake have a lot of money. The rest of us, not so much. In general. And,
Thank you for saying
that's
that.
just, it's just. We're paying attention.
So, would you think that that would be helpful if we set it up so that in the policy, we include birthday parties as a private group function and they notify the town office and whatever we want to do, if it's a little kid's birthday party.
People don't have a lot of patience for reading long regulations. It's just,
No, I'm just trying to organize it so we don't have 15 birthday parties at the beach at the same day, unless we can fit that. I'm just,
If the birthday was all on the same day, I don't know what you're gonna say about it.
no, I'm just looking for an organized way that we know that we've got 30 kids at the beach, all at a birthday party.
well, I don't think they have that trouble in Turner.
Well, everybody's
And, you know,
singing their
Residents
birthday party.
pay them, they can bring whoever they want.
Well, that's why I want to get it, have the resident go through Leanne. So she can log the birthday party and it's for little Sam who's turning 12 and he's gonna have 10 friends.
I mean, and if you people around here. Unless you count the adults who bring them. Because, you know, the kid isn't gonna walk to the beach.
No, I understand, David.
Hi, I'm Dave Stiles. In regards to that, if you go to a state park and they have a shelter house, you typically just reserve the shelter house, so there's not 3 families showing up there at the same time. But the way I look at it, if a family's already bought their $15 sticker or whatever, why charge them anything? They should just call in and say, hey, I'm gonna have a birthday party, and then it's there, it's the same as renting a shelter house.
Yeah. Just, it's a good way to track that and we know what's happening. Steve in the back,
Yeah, I have a summer, there was a band that came quite often and had enough kids that every time had a birthday party. As long as that band had a sticker on it, and they paid their way to go swimming. That was it. I mean, if they come in one vehicle, I'm not gonna say who's the father of that child, who's the father, of that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
If they're all that one car, they go with that $15 tax.
but if, I mean, you're the constable, and if
Yeah.
someone's already said, say it's Elizabeth who says, I'm bringing my granddaughter, throwing her a birthday party, there's gonna be 12 kids and some of the parents, you're gonna already know that this is happening that day, so.
So, you know, some people come there with a bunch of kids and they have a party, and all go through the same band, they're staying station on them, and they have that.
You know, not everybody's got a van.
So I move we make a modification for birthday parties at the beach, and it goes through Leanne, we'll come up with that.
Are you saying an
activity?
exception?
Huh?
You're making an exception for birthday parties?
Yeah.
Well, I think it should be a family gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know, and that's one to involve more than just one car, but. You know, do you want, is this going to, is this gonna go back to, section, section B here, which it says, just past $5 a day, so we're saying that if it's a family gathering, that, these people will be exempted from that fee?
yep. Family gathering that they brought, called and registered on, not just all showed up for a wedding with 65 cars and nobody else can park there. Cause then,
So if there's a family gathering of 3 people, 2 can park there with no passes any day.
no,
It's a parking pass.
to me, this is a special event, not a weekly gathering where everybody from 12 towns gets here and,
Well, it's gonna be a.
Yeah, it will be.
You know, that's why I'm asking. if that-
Everybody's gonna
if
say,
it's
I got
you-
birthday
that
party.
you,
oh, they're gonna have to register it under that resident.
Generally speaking, we do know a birthday is coming.
Right,
Then, you know, it won't really just pop up out of nowhere.
Let me see how it goes.
Finish your motion. You wanna make a modification to include family gatherings,
special family gatherings and birthday parties. Not the,
with no parking passes?
with,
Out to
with an
the
activity
section.
form done through the town office. And that activity form will have a guesstimate on people that are gonna be here. And to me, it should be like under 25, but you know, if someone's gonna be doing a big wedding down there, it's a special event and it would take every bit of parking that we,
Was there a second?
I second it.
on favor?
We still have another, we
Oh,
still have
sorry.
a question over there.
Cynthia, I'm sorry.
Is they're having a party, and like you said, the kids' parents are gonna have to drive them there. How is Steve gonna know that they're part of that party? Because he does the cars, looks for
Yeah,
that
I'm
beach pass.
thinking, that's what I'm thinking. that
How's
this
he gonna know? Is that it's just a preview for that day that he don't have to look? or-
Well, I'm just, my thought is, once that form is filled out,
Policy changed by the seat of our
That-
pants.
a form that talks about the event when they come here, and they're gonna notify you that they're having a birthday party.
So I'm gonna create a form.
Yeah, or I can, doesn't,
Um,
that just says the name of the person, the resident, what the activity is. You know, like a brew fest, we probably are not gonna approve. It'd be well attended.
Is the board gonna approve it before? It's
That's a good question.
Like the others?
Good question.
That's a good question. Yes, Dan.
$5 a car. You okay, now that it's got stickers, you know how to follow it, and that's very, very reasonable, you get 6 people on car or 5, whatever it is. It makes sense.
Yes.
Do the beach permits have numbers?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so if somebody goes down and registers an event, couldn't their guests duplicate their number on their window of their car, even with masking tape? And then he would know that they would refer that to that group.
Or give up that, or, yeah, that parking pass number.
Yeah, that's
for-
true, and then nobody can,
that parking.
nobody knows what your number is. and-
But if you go down, I mean, but it's only gonna be if a resident's gonna register an event. And the resident has a numbered pass. If their guests all put that numbered pass number on their driver's window with a piece of masking tape. Then that would
Or on
refer
the
back
dashboard
to
on the piece of paper.
that event that's already registered with her. And he would be able to distinguish that car from another.
Mhm.
And if it's not, if they don't put the masking tape, then it's on them, it gets towed.
Well, they'll get a warning. We have a process, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, another question.
Yes, Elizabeth.
Well, the constable always used to go down to the beach, chat people up, look around. I mean, if there's a birthday party, it'll be clear who the people are birthday.
But it's not necessarily going to be clear.
But
which
not
cars
on parking. You have to go down to the beach, you have to go down to the beach anyway.
Right, but it's unfortunately, we don't have that awesome setup that Turner does where we have one gate and can lock it. So it's hard because he's up monitoring cars and if he has a bunch that he doesn't know where they came from.
Well, it's an awkward situation because in fact, our beach pass is based entirely on parking.
Right, because there's no
Because
other
parking-
really
we
good
don't
way
actually
to,
have our parking lot yet, and parking is always a problem. But you know, our
Yeah.
beach pass is based entirely on parking. You don't carry anything down there to show that you're from Hartford when you're on the beach. It's just whether you have a parking pass or not, right? Assuming that everybody drives there, which most everybody does anyway.
what do you guys think? I mean, he had a valid point about
I like his idea.
still paying the $5.
And even if a resident has a third vehicle, they can still do the same thing,
Right.
you know? At least that way there, you know, if somebody owns more than one vehicle, you're not getting charged for all the vehicles. You know,
Including ATVs.
That's not the rules, right? You pay per vehicle, the
oh,
parking.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand, but it's.
Because in the past, people have given their parking passes to other people, and we're trying to stop that, and be a resident.
The license plate is on each pass.
Yeah. Or have each pass number, maybe be able to register as many vehicles as we have on that number. So when he looks at his list, he can see the vehicles.
I know, it's a no-win situation. I want to, I'm a people pleaser. It's a horrible curse. I want everyone here in this room to be happy. So, but we also have to keep a rein on it so that we don't have a reoccurring family event every Saturday. That,
I think it definitely needs to be registered in advance.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And maybe there needs to be X amount of weeks prior to an event that it has to be registered so that nobody else can take that fee. You're not.
right.
And it's a
Anyway,
one-day event.
One thing.
The limit on how many cars in the car, like having whatever.
Leanne, how much, I know you had this number before, how much do we take in? For passes this year? How much do we take in on beach passes this year?
$2,500.
Well, that's only one round should be.
Well,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yes.
Just make it simple. Parking sticker on the vehicle, town resident, if not, no sticker. Either way it is. Just get a sticker, you want a sticker, there's no party, I mean. You know, just keep the way it is. I got people now that kick out of a baseball field, they go to the baseball field, park the car, walk down in.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go down to the beach, there'll be 15 people down there and there's no car parking. And they're all parking at the ball field. And I'll catch on real quick and I'll kick them out. Or people from behind shores or where I would kick them out. I find that's it. You know, but you have a sticker on your car and you pay taxes, go swimming.
Pass all through the woods.
We never, I mean, we haven't had any huge issues, you know, area, I mean, the port line was an issue, you have some issues like that,
but you know, I just, I definitely see what Elizabeth is saying. There are families that would love to do a birthday party that, and who can afford to bring them anywhere these days?
Okay, that's it, let them use the beach, have a party. So I do.
Well, yeah, but if, even if you can take some of the kids, what if some other parents have to bring their kids and there's parents there and they take them to the car? Because you drop the kids off and leave, because they can't use the car.
Sure. You go, just stick around the windshield, right?
Yeah, well, I know, that seems so, you know, I hear what you're saying, and yes. You know, from the constable perspective, you certainly don't need sad things to be any more complicated than they already are.
And the amount of money we're getting paid on stickers, those people are really just for the year, really, it's not like it's not like a good money maker. You know, it's just kind of watching the other and keep things peaceful and everybody follows through.
Well,
Susan,
Yes,
and last year I had a family event. We followed the rules, we went down because we had car seats that the parents did not want to move and put in our vehicles. And we needed more than one vehicle, we needed 3. So I accompanied them, we all went down, I bought 2 passes for a week, put them on their car. And then we could go and have our family event. What's different?
They're $5 for this.
and they're $5 for a one-day guest pass.
For one day, or 15 for a week.
yeah, then.
I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
it's
what
like
day.
10
I think it's 10 for a week,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure what day we were gonna do it, so I got it for a week, we used it for one day. Pretty hard to plan when you have 2 or 3-year-olds. But I got a pass, we could have a family event, we did it. You didn't wanna move the car seats for the little ones.
Moving those.
Every
cars-
vehicle had a sticker.
Moving
Car
those
seats are
car seats
awful.
is such a pain in the butt. It's the story of my life these days.
Still a lot cheaper than it would have been to drive somewhere else.
State park.
Any state park, any other beach. I'm in favor, leave it the way it is. It worked.
Yes, Elizabeth.
It worked, yeah, but it's a meaner part. It's meaner because people can't go. I know a lot of people who don't go anymore, including myself. It's just a pain. Is that how we wanted our town to be? A meaner, painful town? No.
Great.
Well, so I guess you might have to review this for me. How do you think it should be? That somebody should just be allowed to take their kid, all the kids with all the parents and all the cars to the beach without any kind of guest pass?
Well, the resident has to have a stay.
Right?
And the constable, if he happens to be there that day, can check and see if these kids are all part of the group. It's not hard to figure that out.
Well,
That's a parking.
well, that's parking pass. So, in the case of a special event, I mean, we could put a balloon on the car. I mean, for birthday party or something, I mean, you know, or, something on the dashboard that says birthday party.
We put that onus back on the person throwing the party. They register with Leanne. How many people they think they're gonna have, and then every car has to have a signifier that says Billy Joe's birthday party on the dash.
That would be-
And they're not gonna happen all the time. I mean,
Once a year, whether you need it or not.
hmm,
Once a year, whether you need it or not.
that's right.
So in the policy, it says. Requests shall be submitted to the select board. So these will too.
It's the last one, G, permits for use. Submitted to the select board, and I think that in the case of, because this also says.
For organized public
organized
events.
Public
Yeah.
events. And maybe the select board still wants to do that, but frankly. I mean, nothing against, little Billy or little Sally, but you know, I don't actually care too much about their birthday party, unless I'm invited.
Even in F, it says organized groups shall request prior select board approval. So we need to change this whole thing and
So rather than make this policy by the seat of our pants, I personally don't see any harm in, tabling it to think well about this particular issue. This would also give us time, if in fact we wanted to, cater to the one person with an Airbnb who made a request. It would also give us time to like, a little bit more about that if we decided that we were going to do something around that.
I would
I can't help but. feel
move
like
forward
I
that,
I can't help but feel that I'd rather see us. Cater to the whims of kids' birthday parties than to cater to the whims of Airbnb owners. Right, so they're gonna wanna do something.
so could I move that we table the policy to rewrite it so that we can look at that regarding, because select board only meets twice a month. We don't wanna hold up a birthday party if someone calls
the
on
other
the
hand-
18th.
But nobody's gonna have a birthday party in November at the beach.
Right.
So
So,
we
but
got
the reason
all the
this
time
keeps,
for it.
yep, but the reason this keeps popping up is because this young lady over here. When people come to register their car in November and December, she says, hey, do you want to get your beach pass now, so they don't have to come back? So my thought is we table the changes, but the $15 resident policy stays the same,
That's
so that she can,
That'll make life a little bit easier for her. No?
does that sound all right?
but you still have a motion on
So you
I'm
can, you can.
rescinding my remote,
That's
my,
the right word.
yeah, motion. And then we're gonna table the beach policy, but I do make a motion that we keep the $15 resident fee for next year. And, Leanne can start selling those passes for those people that are interested in getting them now in November for their cards. My card's due in November.
Oh, that's when I bought my pass. My pass, which I bought, but actually used.
I didn't either. I bought it, didn't use it.
Me neither.
Okay,
Is there a second?
I second it. All in favor?
All in favor, join this time again, of keeping the $15 beach policy and tabling the rest of the policy.
Correct.
For revisions.
Yes, for additional changes. Okay. Next on the agenda is the ATV access on town roads. I'd like to preface that by the select board approved temporary access to the ATV club to see how it would go for the last 3 months of riding season. At this point, if my information is correct, we've not received any formal complaints or any written complaints or calling complaints to the office during that 3-month period, and that the ATV club has closed the trails anyway till next spring because of hunting season, as much of the state is done.
Doesn't mean they are still going, because one that's past my house, as I was getting in the car tonight.
There's no trail
Oh,
run.
yeah.
There's no trail run.
Yeah, I think they were probably out of stage.
Are there any comments from the floor? Yes, sir.
Hi, David Stiles, I'm the president of the new ATV club. You know, the way we look at it is, you know, this hearing is about the road access and whether or not there were any problems during the trial period, and not really rehashing all of the other things that we
Yeah.
did in July, because we already covered all of that. You know, the citizens who had concerns in July, we wanted 3 things. One was that research would be done. That was proven to have been done at the time, and more has been done since. We've been working with Brian Milliken from the state's Office of Recreation Vehicle Coordinators. He traveled out on our trails and rail bed and gave an assessment of what's in good shape and what needs work. He also gave us a trail maintenance and signage manual that the state publishes, that we can use as a guideline. The second was an ATV club we put in place. That has been done. Our ATV club is officially registered and in good standing with the state. We have all met all requirements and have been working on getting all landowners owner permissions. Thirdly, accountability. That was a big issue. By having an ATV club, we are accountable to the state to maintain trails to their standards, including safety. This also pertains to their specific guidelines for the use of roadways and the signage required. And individual riders are accountable for obeying the rules as enforced by the Maine State Game Wardens, now at the County Sheriff's Office. If a citizen has a complaint, it's been my experience as a member in other clubs that typically the club itself gets a complaint from the citizen or the landowner. So as a club, when we get landowner permissions, we also address specific landowner concerns. So that's accountability at its finest. It's our goal as a club, and really every club in the state, to use roadways as little as possible. We have come a long way over the last month in securing vast stretches of land for woodland trails that will cut down even more on roadway use than during the trial period. The state also gives us monetary incentive for trails versus roadways. So, you know, in a perfect world, no roadway in Maine would be needed for ATV access, but that's just not a reality, because sometimes because of terrain and sometimes because of landowners. And keep in mind that only a few roads will be specifically signed access route between trails. Other town roads will merely be used by the residents who live on those specific roads to get to one of the trails or access roads. And lastly, thank you to the select board for having a public hearing in July and hearing everyone's concerns. We're looking forward to the next ATV riding season where we'll have access to other trails and we have a connection into the Peru's ATV trail system at this time. We also continue to work closely with the clubs in Sumner and Canton and hope they have connections into their trail systems as well. And now that we have met our burden and done our due diligence, as well as the fact that there were no adverse effects to people or property during that trial basis, we respectfully ask that the select board make the decision to grant ATV road access. Thank you.
There's no other comments?
Well, I don't know if there is, you know, I guess I have heard from a number of people who saw this coming, who, are concerned about it, you know, the fact of the matter, I mean, Jessica, you said that you were part of, I remember you being part of the committee,
Yes,
and did the committee actually meet?
we didn't, well, we had our one meeting here at the meeting hall that
Mhm.
Wednesday evening. We had several discussions, through the email, with committee members and discussions. But we all kind of picked our, I don't know how to call it,
Assignments or,
thank you.
yeah.
Dave and I worked on safety. A lot of that information is readily available right through the state ATV site. I mean, there's a lot of data and a lot of information. You know, I guess, yeah, to really get in deep, but really, there isn't that much data to show that there's been all of these accidents or incidents or problems. I mean, it's very, very little. There's way more motorcycle, bicycle, vehicle accidents than ATV.
But I believe that committee kind of disbanded that during that July meeting that we had here at the public meeting, and it came to, it was kind of discussed whether the committee was even needed, and everybody just kind of disbanded that meeting.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess I know that there are people who are concerned about that committee didn't really. You know, I think, was it 6 weeks he was given, or how long was the committee supposed to have been active, and so I guess that's what it felt like. You know, when I've heard from other people who felt like the rug was a little bit pulled out from under this committee.
Oh, from what I could see, it seemed like the people that wanted to get the information went out and got it, and a lot of it was already done and readily available, and they moved that stuff forward. I was so surprised to hear that they'd already formed the club, that people were like, you need to form a club. Well, not only they formed the club, they've already gone for their 501c3, they're
Yeah.
registered with the state, and the state guy's already been to a meeting. I was like, wow, you guys have really moved forward and moved forward the right way.
We care about our residents, we care about their concerns very much. But at the end of the day, there's a difference between opinions and reasons. And I think that we proved ourselves this past summer. There's no reason. I understand you have concerns and I understand you're worried. I don't know how much more we could do as a club to try to ease your worry, but we have a club readily in place. We're taking accountability. We joined the ATV coalition, which covers our general liability policy. Not only that,
Does that mean that everybody who's in the club is automatically covered with?
Yes.
No, that also is
Liability insurance
No.
or?
the state offers us liability insurance to work on landowners' properties. And any incident that would happen on a landowner's property is covered under the state
Oh, okay.
liability
So,
policy.
I just, you know, these things, I just feel like, as you said, there's tons of information. I don't know what it is. So I'm, you know, I'm a little bit in the dark and, you know, and it's no joke. I mean, I'm not just talking about people who are commenting on Facebook. I mean, I've heard from other people who are, you know, who are really concerned about this. They're concerned about road damage. They're concerned about liability or, you know, I mean, one of the things that came up was, oh my God, what if I come up over a rise and hit one of these ATVs? Because, you know, because they were racing to work and weren't paying attention or whatever happened, what if something like that happens? Because let's face it, usually in a case like that, the car wins.
Sure.
And that puts a terrible onus
If I
on.
may address just that one issue.
Okay, because then we have someone else on Zoom that wants to say
When
something.
the ATV road access signs go up that are required by the state, that also, that's an indicator to motorists that that's an ATV access route. And again, from my experience, cars are aware of that and they're courteous to the ATVers, and the ATVers are courteous to the vehicle. But that sign, it's like a warning sign that, hey, there could be an ATV on this roadway. It's not just you come over a blind rise and there's no signs and there's an ATV there to surprise you.
There you go. So what roads in the town, you probably, do you know the answer, or maybe it's Dan who could tell me, what roads in the town of Hartford are we talking about?
At this point, it's not clearly defined yet,
Well,
but it will be by
that's
next
certainly
spring.
makes sense.
Pardon me?
That certainly makes sense if it's not clearly defined, and, you know, I mean,
We have to have connecting trails first before we can have access routes through town to get to those
Mhm.
trails, so that's a work in progress.
But right now, when trails were open, what roads were marked to get to the trails?
Tucker Road coming out of here,
mhm.
Town Farm. We were going to Stetson to Sumner, but that got shut down because all the politics over there. We thought that was gonna be a slam
Well,
dunk.
I thought their trails were closed initially just because it was too wet for ATVs. I mean, last summer was not exactly
Oh,
a wonderful year for,
Sorry.
so many things.
Yeah. We have one person on Zoom that Lenny would like to share.
Yes. For me, the issue isn't worries or any of what's been said. 14 people contacted me, I don't know where they are, and felt strongly that this should go to town meeting so that everyone in town would have a chance to hear everything and vote. Which is a decision the select board could make. The legislature put it into the town's officials. So one of the decisions you could make is to take it to town meeting, which would give the club even more time to gather what they need. And that is all I have to say.
So, Dan,
Hold
I
on, we
think
got
Dan
Dan
is
first. Would you stand up? Because, thank you.
I'm a gentleman, so I've been spending the last 4 months just getting people permission to use their property. We can go up Bear Mountain now, Bear Mountain Road. And I've also got it, we're able to approve. Dave and I have been working on some other things to try to minimize what we just like you said. In a perfect world, we would not have to use the road, but like he said, it's not a reality. You're gonna have sand, it only takes one lane on the break a chain. And it took me just to get in the road, it took me over 2 months because.
how are you getting them?
Huh?
How are you getting them?
We're gonna use Darrington for a little ways, Victoria sell it.
I know where they
You
go.
don't need to share the landowner names for them all to get phone calls.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
That comes back and hits the road it's an old county road, I believe. Where, from like Kraski's, but both far away from everyone. Her lane comes out almost on the views. She's probably 300 feet from the blue line.
Yeah.
And I've actually worked with the Peru Club Like I did most of it, I went and seen all the cruise people too,
Yeah,
and we're gonna come out right where the snowmobile trailer comes out, right by Worthley Pond.
terrific.
Yeah.
Down by the old
But,
beach.
I mean, I tell you, it takes a while to get this. So for us, we're gonna be working on other animals, but it doesn't happen overnight. You know, a lot of them can't reach. They go on Florida or whatever,
Yeah,
so it takes a while to get these permission.
I think,
And
I
it's
think I
our
know
own.
just the trail you're talking about, because I rode my horse up there years ago.
What's that?
Rode my horse that way years ago.
Yeah. We're gonna be taking, when we use Stetson for now. We'll be taking, I'm Stetson, Town Farm, we'll be taking left on Stetson and taking on the right that goes towards Lee's house, except we're gonna go straight. And with the portion of that, if this continues, it's all gravel, so it's kind of favorable for ATVs. And it's gonna come out, Davenport, and then we'll take Garrington up a ways. And, jump into the woods there and come out into the wood.
it sounds like you made great progress.
Yeah.
So you're only gonna be using the upper portion of Barrington Road?
Not all the way up, not to Riley's. We won't be going as far as Riley's with the end of the road.
But they'll be glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I haven't been over there, but they didn't want us to, and so we worked around it. I mean.
Yeah.
And same thing with Kraski's, they didn't want us to go across there. So I mean, I had all the permissions to there, so I had to start all over again. And,
And I don't think, I'm not sure that people who feel that way are necessarily having a problem with the idea of club members. It's the out-of-state yahoos. Because they don't want to follow that came into my yard just as I was getting in the car to come down here tonight. You know, he was being followed by a pickup truck with Massachusetts plates. I don't doubt he went up to like guide his buddy into camp or something, but it's like.
I don't care which sport it is, you're always gonna have some yahoos. That's it. Last week was like 33 motorcycle deaths. You're gonna ban motorcycle?
A lot of snowmobiles, a lot of new trails with snowmobiles, I noticed
Right.
in the last few years.
And I mean, it's just, the fact that we're more pedestrians killed last year than ATVs. It's, they're always gonna have something happen.
Yep.
And that's why it's good to have a club, so we can address the concerns. Without a club, there's no one to take it on the back and try to help make it better.
Yeah.
And that's why we're a club. We wanna work with the landowners, we want happy landowners, we don't want them to feel like we're taking advantage of them. And every time a landowner grants us permission, if somebody gets hurt on their property, on an ATV, or a snowmobile, if they have a snowmobile trail also, they cannot be sued against the law to sue that landowner. They have to sue either the state of Maine or the club. So the landowner is very well protected. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but.
I think that's kind of the general truth. I mean, because otherwise, you know, even having hunters cross the land or anything, I'm pretty sure that there is liability protection for property owners who allow their property to be used for most anything.
Yes,
I just wanted to finish touching base on our general liability policy because we did become members of the Maine ATV Coalition, which is an organization that holds a very large general liability policy for ATV clubs. So once we become members of that coalition, that not only covers our GL policy, but then that offers us a tremendous amount of support with literally hundreds of other clubs through the state of Maine, clubs that have been established for many, many, many years. So we virtually have every answer at our fingertips through that coalition and education, which is very important. We're a new club and we need that. And we're educating ourselves the best that we can through the state and through the right people.
did I hear I'm not sure who told me that you guys are gonna bring in ATV safety course?
Yeah, I think that's very important.
So you'll
Yeah.
let us know the date works out, or whether you want to do it online, and we'll get the hall set up for anyone that wants to come in and take it. Yes,
Dave Terrio. I'd like to address any concerns that anybody has, especially, I don't know if you can hear me, Lenny, but I would love to have all 14 of those people list exactly on paper. You know, we have a website. You want to email that to us, you want to text that to us. We want to know all of your concerns so we can address those. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's stopping distance, whatever. We're going 25 on these access routes. It's
Actually, I saw some, it wasn't in this town, obviously, but, in Mechanic Falls, 20.
right, and we can put whatever we want.
Excuse me, I can hear Dave Terrio. Can you tell him I can hear him?
Yes, he heard you. She said she can't hear you.
There's a misunderstanding. Every time I or anybody else says anything, for example, on the Buckfield, Hartford, Sumner, Canton site, there's a lot of rudeness toward anyone who has anything to say that isn't positively supportive of this idea of ATVs on the roads. And it's caused a lot of bad feelings. You don't seem to get it. You seem to think you have a right to this, and no one else has a right to have thoughts about it. That's why I think it would be a good idea to take it to town meeting.
Oh,
There's a lack of communication here. The one side is assuming that anybody who has anything to say about it is against it and is worried. That's not it. There are just different feelings about
Well,
it,
that's it. I
about the
disagree.
noise, about the exhaust that lingers in the air. You can't do anything about that. They're noisy, the exhaust lingers in the air. People just have legitimate concerns that have nothing to do with how hard you've worked. You have worked hard admirably, forming a club, all of it. There are things you can't control that concern people. And it would be good to have a full-blown discussion at town meeting.
Well, we can put that on the agenda, but getting back to being able to agree to disagree, we will not be rude to you at all. If you want to address your, we will follow up on every single one. If you think emissions is a problem from these, some of them are forced, but most of them are forced. And, you know, we can even address that. You know, it's no different than snowmobiles or motorcycles, or, you know, the decibel level coming out of the pipes has to be regulated. I mean, any concerns that you people have, bring them to us, or complaints. If you see somebody, we're the people who want to stand up and try to identify the people who have violated. Because you're right, it's a privilege to be able to ride, and especially on these landowners' properties, and there's nothing we're ever going to do to jeopardize our commitment to community. In fact, we're going to give back.
we have another person and you've used your time. Thank you. Yes,
By putting it to town meeting vote, you're gonna exclude any non-residents by doing so.
I don't think that has been determined that we're gonna bring this to town
What
meeting.
I'm saying, if
Right.
it were to go to
Right.
that point, then you're gonna exclude every tax-paying non-resident from
The-
that.
The state of Maine has given the permission to the town select board to make this decision. I would like to make, Stephen,
I just wanna say, I'm actually pretty proud of everybody how they acted, I figured that like, we got approved, I see. My friends come visit me, I haven't seen in 3 years, and, you know, hanging out, driving on the road, and there's somebody, one little bit cheap. They never was.
if we have no further discussion, I would like to move that since the 3-month trial period appeared to go very well with no concerns back to the town office, that we continue to give you road access, the shortest route possible to your trails. And as you develop more trails, less road use. And Lee had mentioned that Mechanic Falls,
Is this still your Motion.
Still my motion.
She's got to write every single word there, sorry. So,
It has-
brevity is the soul of wit in this matter.
And if anybody has any complaints, go to the town office.
Well, and the suggestion would be, now that we have a club,
Yes.
now that we have a formal club, and clubs and snowmobile clubs, if we have a snowmobile club concern, we usually notify Canton. So I think that now that you have a formal session,
So then, contact information for the club will be readily available and public information.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things I've had a sense of is, well, this is a private club after all. Which I'm sure it is, and yes, you know.
it's open for anyone to join, correct?
Yeah, anybody is welcome to join our club. Even if you don't have an ATV.
Yeah.
Even if you just want somewhere you feel like you belong.
So I grant them continued access. As long as things continue to go smoothly. And now that they have a system of maintaining and,
If this is your motion.
oh, sorry. Continue as long as they,
You can make a motion, you get a second, and then it's on the floor for
Okay.
further discussion.
all right,
But you don't
so
necessarily have to
continued
make a
access.
motion. Talk about it right now.
Is there a second for continued access? Okay, Lenny?
Yeah, the state left it up to the towns, but it isn't simply yay or nay. You could decide any number of things.
Yeah.
You have many choices here. So,
do.
you know, to say the state empowered the select board to do this, well, they empowered you to make decisions. So you could decide to take it to town meeting.
Correct. Is there any other comments from the group? Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Abstain. I abstain. All right, next on the agenda is Regional Animal Control Officer. Lee, do you have any more information on that?
No, they are starting to discuss, and I have discussed this briefly with both the county administrator who wrote that letter and also with our county commissioner. And you know, they are just scratching the surface of it. What they're thinking about doing is taking it in small steps. They'd like to have one full-time person for the southern part of the county and another full-time person for the northern part of the county, because Oxford County is
Really huge.
well, it's not so, compared to Penobscot, it probably doesn't have as much mileage, but it's that long strip.
Yeah,
It's, yeah. So the northern part is, so they talking about having 2 full-timers and some deputies. These will be full-time positions, and that means, you know, a considerable salary with considerable
resources.
further costs, bennies, etc. We're talking about having vehicles for the
That are
animal
meant for
control
animals.
person.
Yeah,
You know, at least, I don't know if they're talking about large animals, they're talking about small animals mostly, so probably they'd have like an SUV with a cage in the back, or, you know.
Yeah.
Or whatever, in any case. Talking a lot of money. Now, if it was
which would be
not-
divided up by,
Would divide up by divided up by the number of towns in the county, or, yeah, but. It's likely to not be as inexpensive as what we're doing now. It may, on the other hand, be a lot more effective.
right. Well, I look
So-
forward to getting more
So-
information. I
so
think it's
we
a great
will get
idea.
more information. That's what's going on. We're talking, the county is talking about taking on animal control for the county. Because a lot of the towns in the county, well, you know, Mexico, Buckfield, lots of towns are having trouble filling the animal control position with somebody who is
trained and,
professional and willing to take it on. We had somebody for years, Augie Hart, who was like, he would come in with new certificates for new trainings every time we'd see him. He was just something else, but you know, he retired.
a nerve.
Yeah, it is. I thought he did such a good job, but, you know, retirement happens, and so that's the latest is that the county commissioners are looking at offering this on a county basis.
Yes,
It might not cost, it might cost
regarding the regional ACO.
more than likely. On the other hand, maybe you get what you pay for.
And there's a comment about that?
So the letter's asking if we are interested, we email county administrator, but he
I've already
is no
talked to,
longer with us.
I
I just want to make sure everyone knows that.
Yep.
Donald Dora is no longer with us.
No, that's right.
Are you
Again,
kidding?
the people,
What is up with that? When did that happen?
do anything to get out of working.
Oh, no doubt.
That's terrible.
Well, dang.
Wow.
Okay, well, I talked to him and that's all good it did. But I also talked to our county commissioner and I will have to assume that they're still looking at it. Don't hold your breath.
Okay,
Meanwhile, our animal control officer has been submitting reports, which is a wonderful thing.
yes, it is, and attending
So-
to
So we
business,
may
which is good.
continue as we have been for possibly some time now. Can't do it, right?
Oh, that's terrible. Wow.
There's 50 something.
All right, next on the agenda is bulky waste planning with Archie's. This is for next year.
Right. I think it's a little basically issues, but I don't know. if
Yep.
we can work on it or-
I think that the solid waste committee is working to get the committee going. I know that there are new committee members and they've got an agenda, so let's give them a chance to work on that the next couple months and then we can. Anyone else think any different?
What, the solid waste committee should continue to work on the project?
Right,
I guess so. I was at the last solid waste meeting. There were two people who showed up.
Yeah.
That were on the committee outside of myself. Participation is a problem. I know that we accepted a resignation from a solid waste committee member at our last meeting, but his wife was going to take that place. I don't know if she was actually notified of
Yes.
it was, does she
Yep.
know that she's
Yes.
knows about this and
Yes, yeah.
she's sworn in?
She's not smart.
Okay, well,
She's what?
she's not sworn in yet. No oath of office. Okay, well,
I want to remind everyone in the room, if you have free time, or even if you don't, but you want to volunteer on one of our committees like solid waste and would be willing to help, that would be great.
we have a lovely crowd of interested participating citizens here. Okay, Dave, you've already limited your wife to this, so I guess you're probably off the hook, but. Solid waste.
I'm not volunteering, but
Put your name down.
we're not the only town with problems. So if you've seen it in the news lately, Auburn just went back to curbside pickup for some of their recycling.
Oh, wow, because they
So-
totally taken away and now they're
So,
going back, yeah.
Either way, it's
Oh, no,
It's always an issue.
it is a struggle in any town. One of the things to know about the solid waste program that I think is really important is that it is the only program we have in town. Everybody, it's really important to everybody, but it's the only place where all of us as individuals and collectively can actually make a big difference in the budget. Has to do with how much stuff we buy and how much stuff we waste and how much stuff we throw away and how many people from out of town are allowed to put stuff next to ours in at trash collection day and on and on. There are ways we could be spending a lot less, and that would be by throwing away an awful lot less stuff. That's a giant challenge for everybody, but here we have it. You know, from composting to it goes on and on. That's the one place we can actually save some money.
Okay, open session is next. Oh, Steve.
Question, how long is their contract Good for Archie's, for, April.
3 years.
3 years, and didn't we just sign one
It's
last year?
3 years and often with the, and it's the two, if everything's going
I
well.
know, I heard he's getting bought out, or sell it, I don't sell a lot of Green Valley rates too, so.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Everybody's selling with these days.
For
you know.
sure,
I've been with Blanchard's for years and they've sold out to their yards.
yeah,
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
all right, any,
Already, I mean,
Yeah.
we had that.
does anyone have anything for open session? Want to keep the moving going, the meeting going? Great. On to new business, certificate of assessment on mill rate. Okay, so we have our new certificate of assessment, our mill rate is 19.4, which is what, just the same as last year.
Come on, how about a round of applause, you guys?
That because of Biden?
Where do we sign this sucker? The very end?
See the line?
In several places with.
Oh, municipal assessors, that's not us.
And that's.
Oh, that is us? I'm a municipal assessor.
Yes, you are, dear. And we find it in all the places where it says even under our hands. That is 3 different places.
Municipal
Right there.
assessor.
There you go, you can do this.
No, I'm pretty sure.
This, come on, please, sorry, this comes. So they can take a look at it? No, yeah,
They sent it to me.
you did, great, thank you.
Oh, my. No, he does stamp, yeah. My mother used to bring all her little labels whenever she went to like a senior fair. They're all mailing labels.
Can I just say something while you guys are doing that?
Yeah,
I called Moses today about snowmobile stickers, because I haven't received them yet, and I asked them about the fees, and they're not going up. But except for the agent fees for ATVs and snowmobiles are going up to $5 each, so. I know at your meeting, you were talking, somebody was talking about donating money
at the
to the
town.
clubs, that
Yeah.
would give extra money if you wanted to put an article on the warrant.
Run it back on you again?
The agent fees for snowmobiles and ATVs is going up from $2 to $5. You know, the snowmobile,
Right,
we get money back when we give it to the clubs.
right,
This might give a little extra if we did want to give some money back to the ATV clubs.
To go towards trail maintenance, what a good idea.
or signage,
Yeah,
because the
signage,
signage piece is really big.
it's
On
huge.
all the places.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
We, sons are on poker. We haven't seen. What they're good at.
They're supposed to be like pretty,
It's big, very small.
maybe how many miles?
Well, the state gives us all the plastic trail signs, but the actual ATV access sign that looks like a street sign, we have to purchase those. And right now, the going rate's $45 a sign, plus the post we have to put it on, because we're not allowed to put it on telephone poles.
Oh, you're not supposed to.
So
put
we're
anything
gonna have to
on.
raise money to buy those signs as well, because it's gonna add up quick.
With that big period, and getting back to what you were saying, that they're not very well posted in town, that's because we were landlocked, we had no trails that we could get to, so we didn't really put an effort on to signage, because we couldn't go anywhere. We basically went to the beach, you know, via railroad bed.
Yeah.
So basically, other than that, it was just town roads to get to.
Yeah.
Where you wanted to go in town.
so during the budget process, is that where the ATV club would make that request, or?
I
Okay.
mean, but it's not gonna start until June, so we're not gonna have any money this year. Yeah, in the next fiscal year, you put in a request.
Great. All right, appointments and resignations, which we go back to the solid waste. And resignation,
I move that we accept the tacit resignation of Steve Nelson from the Solid Waste Committee.
I second that. All in favor? Anyone here want to volunteer to be on the solid waste committee while we have this lovely group? It's,
Let's don't all jump at once.
you're volunteering?
No.
Oh.
No.
But, I really think you should have people fill out the volunteer form instead of just picking people out of the top of your head. Anybody interested if they
Yeah.
fill out the form.
So, could we put a post on Facebook, on our Facebook page that says that we're looking for volunteers and there's a form in the town office they could fill out? Yeah. I mean, put what you're interested in. Okay, is there any other, appointments or resignations? All right, review correspondence. Do we have much correspondence? Yeah, vital records, right?
Yeah.
This is in December. It's on vital records. It's December 6th and December 7th from the first day is 9 to 3:30. The second day is 9 to 12:30. It's a live webinar via Zoom. That's about the speakers and it's $60 for members and 80 for non-members. Now, will you be attending that? Does someone need to attend that? You do.
I'm not sure.
So can we go ahead and approve for Leanne to take this class?
Yes.
Did you make a motion?
I'm making a motion that Leanne take this class. Is there a second?
My second.
Great, all in favor? Do I need to sign this?
This is to take Theo to the next level.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, the correspondence?
I just saw this thing about Trio.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And is there anything else we need to review?
Just, did I do that?
Here is this one. Pricing proposal for the Trio web upgrade.
Everyone seems to have trouble with it, other towns.
Oh, they're obviously, I mean, this is such a, I mean, okay, this is a photocopy, so, but I can see how slick it is. We're trying to talk to everybody that's going to.
I don't think we should, unless we absolutely have.
I say if it don't work, if it works, don't fix it. If it works, don't fix it. Or let's let them figure it out for a while
And then see how it goes.
Share the bugs before we say anything.
So though we appreciate the pricing proposal for the Trio web upgrade, that at this point, we are not interested in doing that. We want to see how it goes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think we need a motion for that, but yeah.
It's just correspondence.
Great. All right,
That's one thing I wanted to say during the.
okay.
Our insurance company paid us for the town office repair. All but $1,000 deductible, and I tried to email her, like, why do we have a deductible? It wasn't.
No, it's out.
It was
but
our
she's on
insurance.
vacation for the 7th, so I don't have an answer.
Well, you know,
Okay,
you shouldn't have to pay a deductible when it was somebody else's insurance that's gonna pay for it in the long run, right?
So they should be paying that deductible, the person who drove the car into the building.
So I'll follow up with her when she gets back from the week.
Okay. All right. I would have to say thank you so much for coming. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. No,